Hello and welcome. How are you all going? Welcome to my first video on Infinity, the game by Corvus Belli. Today I'll be going through my intentions for playing Crimson Stone and for getting back into Infinity N4. And I'll be doing this with the aim of also teaching new players and people like myself who are returning to N4 the rules of the game using the Crimson Stone box set. So I originally got into Infinity when it was the second version of the rules, Infinity N2, and my first army was Pan-Oceania. And after buying a box set and painting up the miniatures, I played a few casual games with my friends and turned out that we really liked and enjoyed the game. So Infinity itself is a dynamic game. It is based in the future with small team tactics and special operations as a core theme of the game. So in traditional war games, you will stand off against each other. The first person will get the first turn and pretty much just shoot the opposing enemy's team to pieces. And as the opposing army, you're just there to take all the shots and lose your characters and miniatures. Infinity is quite different, being a small team skirmisher game. You as the opposing player actually get a chance to perform limited maneuvers against your opponent and to help disrupt their plans and to further your aims and goals in the missions. So to help elaborate this understanding, I'll be going through the Operation Crimson Stone box set to help teach new players and returning players the dynamics of the game. Now, I originally purchased the Operation Crimson Stone box set to help get back into it and to plus give myself two new miniature groups to play with. Those are Nomads and Ariadna. So with the Crimson Stone purchase, I will be going through and doing battle reports on the missions within the Operation Crimson Stone booklet. And this will be used as a teaching guide for my bat reps for new players and watchers who want to get into Infinity. And also to get myself up to speed with the core rules again and to understand the new rules. Now, from what I understand, N4 seems to be a much more streamlined version of the rules. Like N2, they were quite clunky and slow. For everything you had to do, you had to roll a dice, and if you failed, you ended up dying for something simple as climbing up ladders onto a higher feature. N3 did away with a lot of that clunkiness and added some more complexity and more dynamicism, but it became very rule heavy, I do believe. Going through the N4 rulebook, it looks much more streamlined and is, I think, designed to keep the purpose of the original intent of the game, which is to be very dynamic. So a lot of moving and shooting and countering the enemy. So that's it. From here, after this, I will begin the narrative background to Crimson Stone to help flesh out and give a bit of fluff and context to the box set, just to make it a bit more interesting. As you can see here, this image is, sort of representing the future of the human race in the background or in a story of Infinity. And the next video will involve going through the miniatures and the armies that come with the box set in Crimson Stone and looking at the mission types that I will be doing the battle reports on to help teach new players. And then after that, we'll go through the battle reps in turn, which will be learning tools for new players. And these will be a much more streamlined version. I'm not going to do 40 to an hour long battle reps for you guys. I think they're quite, although they're good to learn, they're very long and very boring. I'd rather keep it short. So with that, I'll commence the narrative aspect of Crimson Stone, and I'll see you on the other side. And I hope you enjoy, and let me know what you think of the narrative video. Thank you. Brisingamen, the bejeweled necklace of goddess Freya, was the name chosen for the asteroid belt in the Concilium system due to the high albedo of the bodies that compose it. However, the brightness of those space rocks indicated a low concentration of strategic neominerals. which is why the major international mining corporations preferred to play it safe and not venture their personnel and resources into a risky enterprise. But the smaller mining companies of Concilium Prima, the system's most populous planet and the seat of O12, could only hope for such a risky undertaking, even though they lacked the necessary infrastructure to mine it properly. Fortunately for these miners from Concilium, nomad mining companies from Corregidor were experts in making the most of any piece of rock floating in space. Soon a trust of companies from Concilium was established in association with the nomad nation, and they requested exploitation rights over the belt, which were granted exclusively given the scarce interest shown by other mining corporations. These mining corporations would regret such a lack of interest when it was discovered that Brisingamen deserved its name as a string of precious gems. The asteroids were rich in cesium and necium, which helped break Concilium Prima's dependence on imports of these strategic minerals. Concilium shares the transportation network for supplies and minerals with the nomad companies as part of the bilateral agreement signed by Bureau Concilium. Even though these companies are still rivals in profiting from Brisingamen, they are aware they must stand together in the face of a common enemy that threatens their business. This threat is represented by the large mining corporations of the sphere, who, realizing the real wealth of the belt, corporations such as Panacea Mines Corp and U Minerals based in Eugene have unleashed their legal teams to try to challenge and invalidate the exclusivity agreement granted by Bureau Concilium. But no matter how clever your corporate lawyers are, corporate proceedings are always painfully slow and time in mining is always precious. As a result, Mines Corp have launched operations in the outer areas of the belt, arguing that there are legal gaps regarding jurisdiction, and thereby causing tensions between the authorized prospectors and corporate profiteers. It is a complex situation that Stamada, O12's Bureau Aegis Naval Division, has a hard time keeping under control, given the expanse of the belt's outer edge. For this reason, the Nomad Nation, authorized by Bureau Aegis, has deployed a small military contingent to protect its interests. This measure has only contributed to increasing tensions in the area, since foreign corporations do not recognize the authority of the Nomad patrol ships, which has led to clashes and skirmishes with corporate security services. Therefore, it is not unreasonable to consider the outer edge of Brisingamen as a frontier territory where law and order are absent and only the strongest prevail. Whoever gets to an asteroid first and claims it, and has the gun to defend it, will be its rightful owner, regardless of any legal piece of paper on a planet millions of miles away. It is only a matter of time before other players from other nations become aware of the situation that's so conducive to different players taking action without further consequences. Flock Station is a failed mining colony built by a Concilium Prima-based corporation called Viotti Scoa Incorporated. However, the station was able to redevelop itself into a vital transit and stopover point for anyone working in the outer edge of the Brisingamen asteroid belt. With a wide range of leisure options, keeping in mind the low standards of the sparsely populated remote areas of deep space, and an extensive array of docking and maintenance bays, this station is considered a free port and a neutral location, one of the few spots in the area that aren't under Corregidor's control. Located at the crossroads of routes coming into and out of Brisingamen's outer rim, this base is a busy and densely populated place. The Pan-Ocean Mining Corporation Mines Corp has recently set up offices at this base, expecting a positive ruling on its claims concerning exploitation rights over Brisingamen. The Guild of Independent Prospectors expanded its presence in Clock to counter all this foreign interference. This interference isn't just from Mines Corp, but also from Corregidor and UTRA Company, the Nomads Workers Union, which is an organization said to be a cover for the Nomad intelligence service known as the Black Hand. Both its privileged location and the current situation make Clock Station a place where things happen, which is why Bureau Aegis has designated it as a place of interest. It is a designation that the different intelligence services of the major sphere powers agree with, and most likely the combined army as well. Therefore, it would be advisable to have eyes and ears on the station, for who can guarantee that the next big news will not occur in that godforsaken place?